IVM.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Positively Unlimited podcast. Before I jump into today's topic, I want to apologize for the quality of today's episode. I'm sitting in my room by the window, watching and listening to the winds rage outside. It's been kind of crazy in Mumbai the last 2-3 days with the kind of monsoon that we are seeing. So I'm apologizing right here in the beginning if this episode doesn't have the kind of clarity that the other episodes had, and if there's any disturbance. But jumping into today's topic, I'm talking about a word that means a lot to me, a word that echoes my mindset, irrespective of my circumstances. Today is about T for thrive. I want to share a truth with each of you today, and listen to this truth carefully, because if you register this truth, then it can change a lot of things for you starting this very minute. We human beings are built to survive, but we are born to thrive. Listen to that again. We are built to survive, but we are born to thrive. What does this mean? It means that we need to stop thinking about just making ends meet, and we need to start thinking about what all can we do with our capabilities and the capacity that we hold and our life holds. It means that you don't just think about reaching your goals, but you also imagine yourself living it so that when you do achieve those goals, you are ready and geared up to live it and make the most of it. All our dreams, our aspirations, things that we want to achieve, things that we want to accomplish, things we want to experience, all of these things are beyond just survival. Let me give you an example. You start working, you get your first job, you earn an X amount, and that X amount takes care of your immediate bills. Sometimes many of us need some help from our family in the beginning as well. Well, 3 years into your career and maybe 1 or 2 promotions later, you start earning enough to pay all your bills and to stop taking any help from your family. Then another 2 years into your career, you get another promotion and you start reaching a stage where you are not only paying your bills, but also saving some money or sending some money back home. Then fast forward to a few more years ahead and you are earning enough money to pay some bills, to have made some investments, to be sending money home, and to be living a much better life. So when you started off, say 8-10 years ago in your career, you were in survival mode. You were earning to survive and to make ends meet. But today, 10 years into your career, X promotions later, and Y pay hikes later, you are in thrive mode. Why then are you still thinking about making ends meet? Yes, you may have that EMI to pay because you bought that house. But that house is also about you thriving. It is not about you surviving. Survive to thrive is a shift in your mind. It is a shift in how you are enjoying your life. It is a shift in how you are choosing to do things in your life, whether it is spending money or spending your time. I want you to sit down this week, think about your career, think about every relationship of yours, think about your list of goals, dreams, aspirations. And I want you to ask yourself, in relation to every item that you put down, are you surviving or are you thriving in that particular aspect? Why is this important? Because thrive requires us to up our game. It requires us to change gears. It requires us to start looking at our life from a very different perspective, a perspective of fulfillment, gratitude, and a sense of growth. Thrive is never about when will I have this or that, and it definitely isn't about when will I have enough. All of those words are about survive. Those are coming from a state of mind of I need to survive, I need to make it. Whereas thrive says, okay, how much do I have right now? And what can I do with this? And how can I increase this from here on? That's a thrive mindset. And that's what I want you to practice from here on. Let's take your career or your job as an example. Some of you may just be starting out. And yes, you are in survive mode. So in your job, if you were to thrive, what needs to happen? What does that position where you will thrive look like? And what do you need to do to get there? Say that you are somebody who's been working for 5 or 7 or 8 years now, and you've reached, say, mid-management level. Or it's your own business and you are at a break-even stage. Well, what does thrive look like from here on? What do you need to do to get to that state of thrive? Maybe you are in senior management. Well, are you thriving in your career and your job? Or are you still struggling and still striving? It's okay to strive for more, but with a sense of purpose, and only when you can thrive in where you are today. Growth requires us to first stand centered, grounded, and completely immersed in the present experience. Only then can you reach out for more. You might want to rewind that part and listen to it again, because it's very important to understand that we are built to survive. We know how to adapt. We know how to improvise. Even for those of you who unfortunately may have lost their jobs during this pandemic, it may seem like an obstacle or a disappointment. Well, just for a few moments, sit down and think about how can you thrive. Park that thought of, oh my God, how am I going to make ends meet aside for a few moments and ask yourself that if I am to thrive in my life, what will my life look like? And write down your answer. Don't just do this in your head. And when you write this answer down, don't be surprised if you suddenly have a few ideas and you suddenly start to notice opportunities around you. Let's quickly take the example of a relationship as well. Where are you in your relationships? And I'm not talking just about romantic relationships. I'm talking about any and every relationship of yours, especially through this lockdown. Are you ready to start experiencing a sense of thriving in those relationships instead of just struggling through it? It will require you to really immerse yourself in every single relationship and start to enjoy what each person brings to your life and what you give to them. That's what thrive looks like. So here's what I want you to do this week. Sit down and write, make a list called the job and every single relationship that matters in your life, and a list of all your dreams and aspirations and your desires and goals. And next to each one of them, write down whether you are surviving or thriving. Depending on where you are at, you then start breaking it down and making a plan to thrive in each and every one of these. Life is about living it fully. And when you live your life fully, you are thriving. So that's the word that I want you to think about. I also want to leave you with this one last thought. When you thrive, you are making full use of your capabilities and your capacity. Yes, in order to thrive, you have to use both. What are you capable of? What is your current environment and your life capable of? What is the capacity you hold in terms of time and energy? What is the capacity your life holds in terms of time and energy? These are the aspects that I want you to think about this week as you listen to the podcast. And I hope that by tuning into this episode, at least some of you will be able to change gears to start thriving in your life and doing all that you can with all that you have, starting where you are. And let me also tell you this. To thrive is to view your life and to live your life with a sense of gratitude, fulfillment, hope, and belief that a lot of things are possible for you. When you start to thrive in your life, you tune into abundance. Abundance that flows to you because you are aligned to it and not because you are struggling for it. Remember one thing, struggling for abundance is about survival, whereas aligning to it is about thriving. And that's the wish I'm sending out to each and every one of you today. May this be one where you learn to thrive and where you experience the state of thrive. So on that note, I'm going to head out from here. You have a good week, a powerful week. And yes, do check out my new video series on my Instagram called Positively Unlimited. It's where I share how you can listen to this podcast in many different ways for specific situations. In each video, I identify different episodes that you can listen to in a particular order to solve a problem or get yourself through a specific situation. So on my Instagram, my handle is Positivity Angel. And you can listen to all the episodes that I call out in those videos on IVM Podcast app and website. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is IVM Podcasts. So on that note, I'm heading out from here. But I'm looking forward to receiving a whole bunch of DMs on my Instagram as usual from all of you who tune in and for whom my words make a difference. Thank you so much for all the kind words that you all share with me as well.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. So it's been a really, really fun week this week. We've had a great episode with Anand Nilakantha on Cyrus Says. Anand was one of the writers of Bahubali, and it's done some really, really fun stuff since that. Ashish Vidyarthi also had a really good episode on his show, Begin the Journey. Please do check that out. You do know Yuddha is back, right? Definitely check it out if you haven't. Yuddha is our show about Indian ancient warfare. It's hosted by Anirudh Kanisetti and Aditya Ramanathan. Really, really great show. You should check that out for sure. And I forgot. Rishikesh was on the network as well. He was on Absolutely Right with Aditi Sarana. Do definitely check that out. With that, hope to see you next week.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills, from health to relationships, from mental well-being to emotional well-being, and of course your finances. I've got you covered. With these tips and tricks from me, Zarina, and true life stories from my amazing guests, you're bound to bring your purest to the table. Tune in to the Empowering series with Zarina Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.